The monks now sent after the best horses and had them brought back to the monastery and brought before Heimir, and he was to choose. There were many horses there that were accustomed to tournaments. Heimir went to one horse and struck at the horse's flank so that it fell down. He went then to another horse that seemed to them the handsomest and struck the back of the horse so that the spine broke. He said that none of the horses were of any use to him, and he told them to bring the horse that was the best. The monks said they should take the old skinny horse and give it to him. And this horse was brought forward. It was big enough, but very old. Heimir recognized that this horse was Rispa. He went to him and took him by the forelock and pulled with all his might, but the horse stood quiet. Then he took the tail and pulled hard, but the horse did not give an inch. Heimir laughed and said, "Now you have come to me, my good horse Rispa, as old and skinny as you are. I know of no other horse in the world that I would rather have in battle than you." And Heimir spoke to the monks. "Take the horse and give it grain." And Rispa was now led to the stall and given grain. He remained in the stall 7 weeks, until he was as fat and sleek as he had been when he was young. The abbot sent word to the giant Aspilian that he should come to a certain island alone if he wished to fight, and that a man would come there to meet him who wished to fight him. And when Aspilian the giant heard that, he got up quickly and armed himself, and had an elephant brought for riding, of the kind men call feel. The monks and the abbot went with Heimir, and they took a boat and rowed out to the island. Heimir took now his horse Rispa and prepared him with a saddle and armor. He took his mail hose and his birnie. He set his helmet on his head and girded himself with nagelring and a stout shield around his neck. He took his spear and sprang onto the horse without using the stirrup. The abbot spoke now to Heimir, wishing him good fortune and God's protection, and the monks all said the same. Heimir rode out onto the island, and Aspilian came against him, a fearsome opponent, but nonetheless, Heimir rode against the giant and bade God protect him. The giant called out, "Who is this man who is so little and is riding against me? What do you want? Do you intend to fight against me? I would think it shameful to kill you. Go home and save yourself." But Heimir called out, "Listen, you evil dog Aspilian, as big as you are, and as short as my legs are, and my body, I shall seem big enough to you before we part. and you will not be able to look up to me even with your great size. Listen, giant, I shall not flee before you in this fashion." So Heimir spurred his horse and rode at him with his spear aimed under his arm. But his armor was so good that this blow did not harm him. The giant hurled his spear at him, but Heimir leaned forward against his saddle, and the spear flew over him and went into the earth so far that it did not stick out, and no one has been able to find it since. The shaft on Heimir's spear broke from the great blow he had dealt the giant. Heimir sprang now from his saddle and landed on his feet, grasped the hilt of his sword and drew it quickly. The giant also sprang down. He drew his sword and raised it and struck at Heimir. But Heimir dodged the blow, and the giant missed him and struck into the earth. Heimir turned back quickly with a raised sword and cut off the giant's right hand above the sword hilt. The hand and the sword fell to the earth. Heimir dealt him another blow in the thigh, cutting through the whole thigh, including the bone. And the German song says that he cut so much from the thigh that a horse could not pull more. And now the giant saw that he was defeated when he lost his hand, and he had now received so great a wound that he did not want to stand another such a blow. He raised himself up and tried to fall on Heimir, knowing that he would be killed if he fell on him. Heimir was so fleet of foot and alert that he saw that the giant intended to fall on him, but he did not want to run away. He ran toward the giant so that, when the giant fell, his feet came to the earth, and one leg was on the left side of Heimir, and one leg on the right. But Heimir stood unscathed between the giant's legs, and then struck one blow after another, until everything was so small that every limb lay separate. The monks who were keeping the boat heard such a din that the ground shook, and they saw that the giant had fallen. They sang a Kyrie eleison and praised God for his token. They went to the island to meet Heimir. He rode toward them and was not wounded. He boarded the boat with his horse, and they rowed to the land and then home to the monastery. The news had already reached there before them. So the abbot went out to meet Heimir, and all the monks went with him. They carried out the shrine and the holy relics, and made a great procession, and thanked God that he had released them. Heimir dismounted before the churchyard, and the abbot took him by one hand, and the prior by the other, and they led him into the church to his seat. And Heimir kept the rule again for a time. Heimir's warrior heart was reawakened when he was equipped with his armor and weapons again. And he also got back his good old horse Rispa. So the giant was defeated, the threat was defeated. But Thidrekssaga is not coming to an end here yet, There is still more to know, so stay tuned for more and return here to the Hall of Sagenheim.